All right, so good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us for day 2 of our manufacturing week sponsored by the city of Concord. Thank you so much, Mount Diablo High School and Concord High School, for joining us this morning. We're really excited about our guests, Rivendell Woodworks, and to introduce our guest today, I'm going to shoot it over to Robert Carrera, who is with the city of Concord and who is our sponsor for today. So Robert, take it away.
Thank you very much, Erin. Good morning, everybody. My name is Robert Carrera. I'm with the City of Concord's Economic Development Department. I'm their Economic Development Specialist, and I'd like to once again welcome you today to today's presentation. This is presentation 2 of 3 as part of a week-long celebration of the resiliency and strength of the Bay Area Manufacturing, Bay Area Manufacturing Week. So, again, manufacturing is part of the bedrock of the Bay Area's economy. It employs over 300,000 people in the region, and it supports all the other industries that make the Bay Area the vibrant and diverse region that it is. Everything from technology to agriculture to art and to woodworking as well with today's presentation. Manufacturing Week again spans from October 1st through October 8th. And it's organized through the Bay Area Urban Manufacturing Initiative, a project of SF Made that brings together 32 cities and counties from all across the Bay Area to support manufacturers and collaborate on issues close to manufacturing. The City of Concord has partnered once again with the school district and our local manufacturers to give students an inside look at our local manufacturers and learn more about their unique manufacturing processes and the value that they bring to the economy. And we're very thrilled to have this local manufacturer once again to present to you guys today. We're pleased to have Rivendell Woodworks and specifically Jeremy Evia to teach us more about their company and the type of manufacturing that they do. So without further ado, Jeremy, take it away.
Yeah, thank you, Robert, and thanks to the district for inviting us to do this. We're proud of our business. We've been doing this for the business was started back in '75. I've been doing this since I was a kid, but I partnered up in 2005. I'm a co-owner with my 2 brothers, and we run the business here in Concord. We're located. You guys probably know where Costco is down in the Detroit area. There's lots of small businesses down there. We're just one of them, but we've been in this location for about 25 years. We're hoping to expand very, very soon. Larger workspace, bigger warehouse, yeah. So things are moving forward. We do basically all custom woodworking, lots of cabinetry, lots of architectural millwork, which is, lots of commercial case goods, wooden fixtures you see indoors in homes and businesses, whether that be, functional cabinetry or decorative beams, coffered ceilings, moldings. I mean, basically anything wood, we're game. We do all of that kind of stuff. We stick to the high-end residential market primarily, although, like I said, we do lots of commercial work. Although lately, given the economic climate, not a lot of commercial work going on. Lots of people working at home, of course, so not a lot of new offices being built and stuff. But we're real busy with the residential stuff, so we're grateful for that for sure. We have 2 drafters who work mostly full-time. We have 2, when I say full-time, they're full-time workers, but sometimes they do other things other than drafting. We have 2 full-time workers in the workshop, and then we have 2 full-time installers who are installing what we design and build out in mostly San Francisco, Berkeley, Hills, Oakland, that general area. Lots of work in the city, not surprisingly. So yeah, we service the greater Bay Area. We've gone as far north as Sea Ranch and as far south as Carmel. Although we don't typically prefer to, we do, you know, work where the good jobs are. So, but yeah, that's a little bit of an overview. I'd like to show you as much as I can as far as our process goes. We'll see how far I can get, but I can walk you through our workshop. It's a little bit noisy, but hopefully you let me know if you have a hard time hearing me. They're doing a little bit of maintenance on some of the machines right now, so we'll just take a walk down there. Let's see if I can turn this around. So yeah, I'm gonna kind of go a little bit backwards. This is obviously my office and another office here. I'll walk you through the front of the shop. Oh, whoops, forgot one thing, sorry. We are still masking here in the shop because we do have to work pretty close with each other. So I'm gonna grab that and head back down. Our offices are upstairs, if you hadn't noticed. Turn this around for you. And the front of the shop, this is where stuff comes out. Some finished cabinetry here. Not a lot to see right now. We just shipped some stuff out the other day. Some finished panels here. These came from Italy that we had shipped here. We cut them up. We put all this hardwood banding on them, and yeah, they're about to go out to the job site. But we get materials from all over the world, depending on what the designers spec and what the client is, what their preference is. Here's some countertops being worked on. And but I'll go straight to the back of the shop where it's the noisiest, so I can give you an idea of how the workflow takes place. So here's the forklift. Material comes in through the back of the shop here. This is our air compressor area, dumpster. So we have a big air compressor in this shack, and then we have a backup air compressor here. Forklift brings in the material into our horizontal rack. We're kind of overloaded with material right now, but it's what you got to do when you have not enough workspace. But like I said, we're looking to expand. Here's some casework being worked on. These are two cabinets sitting on their back that are going to be upper cabinets in a home bar. So they're going to be fully lighted shelves. These are just, you know, solid wood face frame pieces on a veneered carcass. So this isn't typically where we would assemble, but given how much space we have to make the best use of the space that we do have. But yeah, typically assembly would happen in the area I walked by earlier, but this was happening over here. So anyways, this is the material comes in here. This machine here to my right is the wide belt sander and planer. What this does is it dimensions the thickness of your workpiece and then sands it. I'll show you inside real quick for fun. So you have a planer head sander, so it planes and sands, and then comes out the other side all pretty. So this machine's quite useful. But anyways, panel goods come over here to the CNC machine, which we program upstairs, send all the files down to this computer, and we load up files from the office here. And we can run them all. Just this little part here, we can run whatever parts, shapes, even 3D carvings we do on the router here. This thing's a lot of fun. These are some of the knickknacks we've made with this. We've got little carvings for a picture frame we did, some grapes, little horse head, something I did for my daughter's school. Logo somebody wanted us to do, so company motif and wood. So yeah, lots you can do with CNC router. That's all programmed upstairs. We send it down to the machine and route it. And the parts, typically 90% we route on here are cabinet parts. So you get lots of lots of rectangles with holes drilled. Here we have a horizontal drill. This basically drills the mating screw holes and dowels for the cabinet parts that come off the CNC router. And load it onto carts. And then right behind me is the edge bander, which the parts get fed into and basically veneers the edges of your cabinet parts. So you end up with, I have an example, what we were looking at earlier with these panels, where you have a, this one's edge banded. See, you have your core material here. You run it through this machine, gives you these nice, whether it be solid wood edge you can do plastic, you can do, thicker wood, you can do very thin wood. It's pretty versatile. This machine's definitely critical to the process, like the CNC. So, and again, I'll show you real quick under the hood, kind of what's going on. So yeah, workpiece comes in here. You have your glue station here. And, well, it's not turned on. That's okay. Basically, yeah, it comes in, trims your part, cleans up the top and bottom, buffs it in the end, spits it out the end, and you have a nicely laminated edge. So that's a lot of the panel processing machinery that is utilized. When we have to use solid wood, we come over to this side of the shop, another roll-up door, we can bring in our solid wood material. These goods get stored up here in our horizontal rack. They get milled up here on the sliding table saw. This is less common than your average table saw you see at a job site, but you have this carriage that basically rolls. And it's real convenient for milling up solid wood for whatever it may be, face frames, moldings, what have you. It's a nice automated fence. You can just punch in numbers, and the fence is CNC controlled and will move to nice repeatable positions. So all our cuts are repeatable and accurate. So that's quite nice. You got your dust hood here. Everything's inline connected to our dust collector system. This feeds back into here. I apologize for the clutter, but you can kind of see what's going on. So back into our dust collector, these filter these small dust particles out. So clean air comes out here and all the large particles just drop down into these bags. So keeping the air quality decent is very important for everybody here. So yeah, sliding table saw, super cool. Use it all the time. This is our smaller table saw. This is a saw stop technology you might be familiar with, where if you touch the blade stops and drops, so minimize injuries. This is sort of a backup saw we use, but we still use this quite often for solid wood processing, mitering, things like that. This is a joiner, probably familiar with these two. It's a kind of a small one for our shop, but it still works well. We still use it all the time. So yeah, workbenches, like we walked by earlier, are a couple routers sitting out. We have lots and lots of routers. Try to keep as many routers as possible to minimize tool changes. So you have a router set up for flush trimming, a router set up for roundovers, things like that. So you kind of dedicated routers for each tool or router bit. So yeah, we use a lot of Festool products. domino joiners, sanders, track saws, things like that. Joinery machines. Here you have a pocket cutter that cuts pockets in the backside of materials so you can back screw face frames or parts and kind of hide your fastening. This is another smaller dust collector we use, sort of auxiliary, because the big one in the back services the big machines, and then this one services the smaller tools like the pocket cutter, chop saw, smaller table saw, things like that. So yeah, that's pretty much an overview of our workshop here. We've got our guys' workstations here. They're on break, so that's why it got nice and quiet. And you got your clamping, or glue bottles, some finishes. We don't do finish here, but we have finishes for touch-up, things like that. We got a hardware room. We keep all our hardware that comes in. That's really hard to get right now, thanks to supply issues that everybody's dealing with, but it is what it is. I have our installer cabinet here. Try to keep things organized, but you know, coming back from the job site, the last thing you want to do is clean stuff up. So we try and keep this as tidy as we can for them. And of course, they're all out installing right now. And then this is our parking lot. We have a next door, we have storage. I won't take you over there because it's kind of boring. It's just storage and stuff. So yeah, that's basically a quick rundown of the workshop. If possible, I want to try and show you guys some drawings that we do. It's kind of some of the programming that goes into getting parts down to the workshop. So what I'm gonna see if I can do here now. Sign in over here. Maybe share my screen.
Yeah, just let me know which one you want to share your screen on and I'll make that. You should have access.
Okay.
One of the things that we want to see too is, I remember, correct me if I'm wrong, you had a really cool guitar in one of your offices that somebody made.
Oh, yeah.
Is that still there?
Yeah, that I can go grab. That's downstairs. Sorry, I didn't show you that.
That's okay.
But yeah, I'm building a couple guitars for myself, I guess, just for because I play and I do woodworking, so it made sense to try and make something nice. But yeah, thanks for remembering.
Okay, you should have screen share access now.
Okay. So,
So while we're setting this up, teachers, if any students have any questions or comments or anything, go ahead and put those in the chat box. Remember, we're going to wrap up by 9:25. I know that that's when the bell rings for one of our schools. I know one of our schools might have to pop off a little bit earlier than that, but don't worry, we're recording, so we'll get everything over to you all. But yeah, so just throw anything in the chat box and I'll read those off.
I am having a little trouble getting this to work on the computer end here. Sorry. Let's see what I can do.
That's okay. It gives you the ability to share though, right? You see the share button.
And No, I don't see the share button. That's what I'm looking for.
So it should be on the bottom. Says
Breakout
share
room.
screen.
There it is.
While you're doing that, a student asked what would happen if one of the machines broke down, what would you do and how would you get it fixed? That's a good question.
Yeah, so the machines we use are very specialized in for this industry and the type of work we do. So unfortunately, you can't just, hire any old like mechanic or machinery repairman to come and look at it. We have to go to typically we have to go to the manufacturers or the distributors that we get the machines from. They have their technicians that they have, flying around the country all the time. So we got to bring them out, have them work on the machine. That is, of course, if it's not something we can fix ourselves, which we often do, and at least attempt to do, because it's very expensive given the specialization that it is, to have them come repair the machine. So yeah, it's a good question, because that's something we certainly have to consider part of our budget. So can everybody see the CAD screen?
Yes.
Okay. So the cabinets I was showing you downstairs. Put this out of the way. Is this here that we designed here in the office. Now I can isolate different products, look at it piece by piece. Those are the two cabinets. This is a bar in someone's house, great big house. So they have a little bar off to the side of the kitchen. So each one of these shelves gets lighting. So yeah, we basically design everything here in the office, get all the engineering squared away, and we process it to the shop floor, which means, we break down all the parts needed for the product and project, creates a great big database of parts that the CNC can read. And then the CNC, we load up typically 4x8 sheets of material. CNC comes and cuts them out for us with all the holes that we need drilled. So yeah, super nice and automated and convenient. One thing that's nice about our process, I believe is a little unique, is we come in when we do our quotes, we basically pull from the same library that we use for our manufacturing. So what that means is, while we're quoting, we're building our library of products for that job. So in the event that we win the bid, we can take that database straight into the manufacturing process. Saves us a lot of time in reloading or sort of doing takeoffs all over again from the architectural plans that we receive. So that's what's happened here. We had this job, and we quoted it with basically the same software that we use to engineer and program for the CNC. So it takes that step and sort of merges the two of, creating your database of products for any given project. So, and then with this engineering software, we can get all our shop drawings done. So this is what we present to the client. So you're looking at, the elevations of that same room where you have the cabinet you guys saw downstairs sitting on the bench, all detailed, dimensioned. I have my RFIs, request for information from the architect, on here, where I need some verification of different details. You have plan views of the same area. Everything's numbered. If you're used to reading plans, this probably makes more sense than, obviously, if you're not, can look a little messy maybe. But yeah, this is an example of a room and a job that's in progress now. I wanted to show you something that was kind of, you could see multiple stages of, but this is just one room of a big house. We have lots and lots of rooms in this particular house, which I could show you. Like, for example, there's 3 kitchens in this house, for example. I could show you the PDF, sort of a PDF version of what you're looking at here.
If you changed screens, we didn't see it. We still see
Okay,
the drawing. Yeah.
See if I can get it to switch. And
I think when you hit share screen, you have to hit the one specifically that shares your entire screen, and then it'll let you go to,
I see.
yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not as quick with the
Nope.
Zoom.
No worries. We spent a year and a half on Zoom. That's the only reason
Yeah.
why. We
Okay.
know. Bear with us, students. Thank you for understanding. It's
Well, let's see, screen share, new share, multiple participants. Here we go. And yeah, so this is a PDF version of a set of shop drawings. You were just looking in the CAD space previously. So you have, go to the beginning, you start with our plan views. You know, if you have a big island here, refrigerator wall, you got a great big range oven, cabinetry, and we do multiple layers. So this is, you're looking at the top down, at the top of the upper cabinets, then you slice through the lower cabinets so you can see the appliances, you can see, you know, the way a lot of the casework is constructed here. So everything is detailed out down to the individual part, and you can see drawer backs, everything is exactly how it's going to be cut out. So we can really give a good idea to our clients and architects and contractors, you know, exactly what they should expect to be installed. But your plan views with details of your corners and areas that need attention. There's another layer. This is down at the toe kick frames where the casework sets on. And this is the second kitchen, same thing, where you have multiple layers of the same room. So you slice through and see really what's going on down to each individual part. And you have your elevation drawings of the same room. So you have the wall with the great big range. You got 4 ovens, 71-inch range. Yeah, it's a big house, big old island, another wall. So you get the idea. Kind of how the shop drawings go. We have our, over here you have, you know, all the details, residents, contractors, materials being used, finish being used, hardware, door styles, your revision dates. This is important because a lot of times architects, designers, homeowners really want to just keep changing things. So we have to kind of put a you know, a stop to, not a stop, but remind them, look, if you keep changing things, or your project budgets are just going to get out of control. And so we, you know, we offer 2 revisions. After the 3rd one, we have to start billing by the hour. So shows it in red, so on and so forth. Just little tidbits. So yeah, I mean, that's a rough, I guess, a very rough overview of the flow here. I'd love to answer any questions if anybody has any about our process or the industry in general. Yeah.
So I got a private message sent to me that said, how long does it take to start the drawings to getting like a final product before you go into actual starting to build?
Sure. It, of course, you know, depends on many things, like the size of the project, or the complexity of the project. Availability of materials right now is definitely a thing. But let's say, you know, materials are easily available. people are making decisions quick. Things are kind of moving the way we, the way we prefer them to. I would say, like, for drawings, for a job this size, this set of drawings that we're looking at, it's fairly large, but this set of drawings took probably, with all the changes taken into consideration, probably about, I would say, 5 weeks. And that's, keeping in mind, we basically draw, we submit, architect and homeowner goes over it, they make changes. In this case, lots of changes. Comes back to us, we do a revision, we resubmit to them, they look it over, and hopefully by that time they've settled on what it is that they want or want it to look like. So, and then they'll sign off, and then we can begin production. So typically, like, drawings range from, let's say, a kitchen, we do lots of kitchens, drawings can range from 2 weeks, taking about 2 weeks to do, to, in this case, quite large, 4 to 5 weeks. Once things are approved, we generally say 6 to 8 weeks for manufacturing, and that's dependent on, like, what our workload is at the time, or again, availability of materials or hardware and things. So, and then of course the job site schedule is another thing it's quite hard to schedule around, because we're working with other subcontractors who need to get their work done before we can come in and get our work done. So we're at the mercy of the process, and oftentimes the process out of our control, sort of steers off course, if you will. There's delays for whatever reason. So in this industry, in this business, is hard to schedule down to the T. It's why we give a window when we're asked how long something will take. So yeah, that's kind of a long-winded answer, but for a kitchen, I say kitchens because we do lots of kitchens, 4 to 5 weeks for drawings, or 2 to 5 weeks for drawings, manufacturing, 4, 6, 8 weeks. Installation, 2 weeks, maybe.
Awesome. One of the teachers asked, are there any educational requirements that you look specifically for in an employee?
Credential wise, not really. Math is a big part of what we do. So we hope that, there's a general, a good, at least you don't shy away from math kind of a thing, but no credentials per se, rather like an interest, like a genuine interest in the industry and the type of work that it is. Right now we're not looking for people who have never done it before. We're certainly love to talk to people who are interested in it, or have maybe taken like some classes in school related to woodworking and the industry as a whole. But we don't like, that's what I'm trying to say, is we don't look for a degree per se. It's just if you have a background, hopefully, in some hand tools, a background in handling and cutting wood, and really, most importantly, a genuine interest in learning. And that's pretty much what all it is.
Awesome. You mentioned that you use AutoCAD or CAD for your drawings. Is there any other software programs that you use to either draw or create or plan?
Yeah, sure. AutoCAD mostly, a lot of AutoCAD all day long, but there's a software called, again, it's probably mostly specialized stuff in the industry that you might have not heard of, but it's a program called En-route that we use for our 3D carving. AutoCAD gives us, two-dimensional shapes. You can do 3D in AutoCAD. In fact, what we were looking at was all 3D, but for the more complex sort of three-dimensional carving, more fancy looking stuff, we moved to that other software called En-route. And that we can also use to program for our CNC, sends information to CNC the same way that AutoCAD and our manufacturing software, which is an add-on to AutoCAD, it's called Microvellum. That's what we use for our estimating, engineering, and programming for the CNC. So Microvellum, which is an add-on to AutoCAD, a great big add-on, and then en route for 3D carving. And then we do some visualizations too for our clients sometimes. So we use 3ds Max, like a 3D software, also from Autodesk. And then sometimes we use Blender, which is an open source 3D program that will model stuff in, put our lighting in, render, sometimes even animate and present. So.
Very cool. That's super helpful. A two-part question. How old does somebody have to be to work with you all? And do you take interns that are in building or engineering pathways?
I mean, geez, I haven't considered interns. Well, I'll start with the first question. Age-wise, I mean, old enough to work, but I think that legally, of course, but I think some of the work is there's lifting, general like labor stuff that like we certainly want people to be, able, not hurt themselves. So, I would say, 16. I don't have a clear answer for that, but I think that, I think that it's, like I said, we're open to talk to pretty much anybody about, interest in working here. So, but not too young where someone's liable to hurt themselves. So, but as far as interns, I hadn't really considered that. I don't know if I've ever been asked that before, but if someone, I mean, the way I look at it and the way my partners look at it, this is not easy work. It's challenging work. It can be dangerous too. I mean, it is dangerous. It can be dangerous. It's certainly, you can hurt yourself pretty bad if you're not careful. So we believe in compensating people for their time here, whether it's in a learning sort of apprenticeship program, or So if I don't call that an intern, but I guess you'd say paid interns, sure.
Awesome. Would you be open to giving students a tour of your shop one day?
Absolutely. Anytime.
COVID's, not as crazy.
Anytime. Yeah, we enjoy, giving tours. The shop is not huge. There's a lot we want to do with it, and a lot of more we want to expand, as I said, and we plan to, but it doesn't mean we're not proud of what we have and what we've accumulated, and we'd be happy to show it anytime. So please.
Awesome. So our audience right now, we have both building trades and construction students and engineering students on. The teachers are broadcasting to their different classrooms. What is one piece of advice that you would tell high school students, or that maybe want to get into the field that you're in? What's one piece of advice that you would give them, or one strength that they should work on now, whether it be having a skill working on a software program or using a specific machine? Is there a piece of advice or a skill that they should start really honing in on right now so they can come out hardcore after graduation, I guess?
Sure. I would recommend general architecture. I kind of fell into this. My father started the business some years ago, and I just kind of did it as a kid. Then I got interested in it as a young adult, and then I went full force, when I was about 18. So I just kind of moved into it, and I realized at some point, hey, I'm lacking in some of these areas. So what I did is I went to DVC and I took a bunch of architecture classes, where I learned, various I didn't become an architect, but I wanted to get a background and kind of enrich my knowledge in this field. So for me, it was, getting some architecture background and understanding an array of fields, not becoming an expert in all of them, but understanding like, how plumbing relates to what we do, or electrical, or framing, things like that. So if you're in there doing one trade, you can at least have a general understanding of the subcontractors or contractor who's coming in before you or after you, and what you need to do to sort of set them up right, or what needs to be there for you when you approach the job site or the work. So, but yes, software, it's becoming more and more of a thing. That's obvious for, it's things are becoming more automated, but that doesn't mean that, we're cutting out workers. The workers, I think, just need to become more knowledgeable in automation and software, and everybody can stay busy. So definitely don't ignore the software end of things, and sort of get a better general overview of the industry that you're looking to move into. And in my case, it was architecture. I saw it as, learning more about the bigger picture of building. So that would be my answer to that.
That's a great answer. So here's a two-part question. Can you explain what an average or typical day might look like for you at Rivendell Woodworks? And how has that changed for you and the company since COVID? And I know that last year when we met with you, we were kind of still in the height of it. And now here we are a whole year and a half later. What's changed with that? Has it changed your typical day?
It's funny, when COVID hit last year, things slowed down for, about a week for us. And then it was, oh, well, the jobs we have are still going. Everybody's being, of course, more careful on the job site, but so the workload didn't change a whole lot for us. Like I said, it dipped for a minute because everything kind of went crazy, and then it kind of just ramped up pretty quick, and it's been ramping up since then. But in terms of like the day-to-day, yeah, we have been doing temperature checks. Everybody who come in do their temperature checks. Everybody's been masking. We're still masking here in the shop because, like I said, we have to work pretty close, and sometimes with the machines running, we're up in each other's face, and we're trying to not get in each other's breathe each other's air too much. But we mask pretty much most of the time, if not all the time, and the job sites are similar because we're working with other trades and contractors. So there's OSHA still requires that we mask up in the job site. So we're still doing that. So I can't say a whole lot has changed. The biggest, aside from like the day-to-day and what our day looks like, it's pretty much normal for us, but it's getting materials and the supply chains being as disrupted as they are. But a normal day for me, I come in, I set up here in my workstation, and I'm pretty much drafting, I would say, at least half the day. If a perfect day would be drafting about half the day. I do all the development for our software too. So I'm developing our estimating spreadsheets. I'm updating pricing for materials, writing formulas for different features that products may need. So, if a product may need for example, a trap door, a hidden compartment in it, and we don't have that feature in our products, I'll need to go right in that feature of the product. So when our estimator goes to, add that feature, he can just click on it. I need a trap door, whatever. And it'll add a price and it'll add engineering features to it. So that's large part of my job is developing the estimating and engineering software. So yeah, I do a lot of drafting. I do a lot of development. And so I'd say maybe 25% of my day would be spent on development. That's working in spreadsheets, writing formulas and so on. And then maybe 10% would be programming, like custom programming for when I say custom, more tricky programming that our software can't automate. I have to kind of do it by hand for the CNC for one-off parts or one-off products that are more odd or difficult or unusual. So, and then the last maybe 15% is cleaning up, staying organized. I'm real big on keeping workspace clear and managing the shop floor too. That's part of my job as well. So being a business owner, unfortunately, I do a lot of work in my business. I sort of am an employee of my business. So we try to build our business, but we're also working in the business at the same time. So that's my day-to-day pretty much. I get pulled down to the shop floor from time to time to do some of the more oddball, tricky woodworking that comes up. So I do spend on occasion, full days on the shop floor. That's more rare. I think my typical day is what I just sort of explained to you. Lots of drafting, development, lots of spreadsheets.
Awesome. So you've got your hands in software in many different ways. So that's very cool.
Yeah.
Multifaceted you are. So awesome. So we only have about 1 minute left, but really quickly, what's the coolest project you've ever worked on? Whether it was one of your guitars or a mansion?
Yeah. A couple things come to mind. The guitars are cool. Unfortunately, I haven't finished a guitar yet, so I can't really take credit for that quite yet. But we did first thing that pops to mind would be we did a Hobbit door for somebody's loft. Or I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Lord of the Rings. It's the Hobbit holes they're like these circular doors with, this arc casing and moldings. It was really cool. And somebody got inspired and some architect drew up this ridiculous door for their loft. And they approached us, hey, can you make it? Yeah, sure. We bid it. We built it. And it came out really cool. It was a lot of fun to build. I got to do the engineering, the building, and I actually ended up installing it coincidentally. So I guess that's probably why it sticks in my head more clearly than some of the others, but that was a cool project for sure.
Well, it sounds like fun. Well, Mr. Trowbridge's building trade students and construction students are actually working on a tiny house. They've already built one and they're working on the second one. So maybe we can invite you over to come and see some of the woodworking that they're working on and they're doing in their shop at Concord High.
I'd love to.
So,
I went to Concord High, but I never went to I don't know if they had a woodworking program at the time. So
okay, awesome. Well, I'll definitely keep you posted on that. So on that note, I want to thank you, Jeremy, very much, and Rivendell Woodworks for participating today and giving our students this awesome run through of what you do. It's exciting that now this is the second year you've participated with Manufacturing Week with us, Mount Diablo Unified and the City of Concord. So we're very grateful for you coming. Mr. Trowbridge just said we would love to have you see their program. So I'll definitely keep you posted on that, and we'll bring you over and give you a tour of our shop or their shop, I should say. I like to take credit for that. So thank you so much for joining. I'm going to go ahead and stop recording now.